Hey, 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 Instagram. I got to shout out and say thank you to all of you guys who came out to the Atlanta show over the weekend and came by the booth and came and waxed with me. We had an absolutely packed class. I had people standing. I had every chair was full, which I always love doing classes and training like that, especially for estheticians and Brazilian waxing. So it was fun. Thank you guys all who actually purchased my book as well. I want to say thank you to everyone who wanted me to sign them. So that was always exciting. And yeah, I mean, there was just a lot going on. I'm glad that I got home and the Hurricane Nate that was supposed to be a hurricane just turned into a rainstorm and I didn't get stuck and all of that good stuff. But, I have been chatting a little bit on my Facebook page about some great articles that have been coming out. We have one that's circulating right now with people buying peels on eBay. So if you're not following me on Facebook, I do and always try to do conversation starters that are great things to share with your customers, put onto your business page, bring the awareness that, buying a peel online, whether it's from a website or whether it's from eBay, is never going to be able to yield you the kind of results that you think. And then the second part is really making sure that we emphasize the importance of what we do and how we change people's skin and we actually know what we're putting on the skin. So, that's an article that I have going around. There's another one that I've shared, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but when we start talking about what we do, and I had a question, someone asked me, how do I prove that clients need me? You always have to do and share what you do, and I think that's our issue for a lot of us is we don't know what to say. Good evening. We don't know how to promote ourselves. We don't know how to say, I am valuable to you because I can do A, B, and C. That is how we build our business. I got to give a shout out to Nick Townsend. He has been promoting my book and promoting my waxes. I always have to give kudos to him. He does have a training coming up on October 15th for brows. If you are looking to wax and get proficient at them, I would definitely encourage you to sign up for his class. If you don't follow him or you do follow him, you can register on his Instagram page. There's a link directly to register for that class. I am sending him some wax products, latte, for him to do a giveaway as well. So he will be doing a giveaway of the Say Brazil latte for those of you guys who have been wanting to try it, and hopefully you guys will be able to get some in your hands because he will be using that in that training as well. But the thing is that I find is that we as estheticians don't quite understand exactly the power we yield, and we yield a lot of power. I yield a lot of power, and I didn't really realize how much power I yielded until I really started separating myself from what everyone else did. Once I started proving and showing and sharing my signature, or why I do what I do, why I use what I use, why my results are this way. And it's funny, this weekend during the class, I had a few people come up and work next to me, and I told them, my always go-to waxes, of course, when I wax, are Say Brazil, CocoDiva hard wax, and then on this particular model, we use 7 on the pubis mound, which is a strip wax. And everyone is always over the top when it comes with strip waxes. And I say, here's the thing. I've created strip waxes so that they are removing hair and keeping the skin intact. I use our prep pads and our oil to keep the skin moisturized. I do all of these things in specific reasons because once you're done, the client does not look like they've had a service. So when I got done waxing and I'm talking and waxing and we're doing people are asking questions and they're asking me, why do I use hard wax only on the labia? Why do I use strip wax on the top? And of course, it's always about cost. It actually is cheaper to use a strip wax per service. If you actually know your numbers for that, it is cheaper, but it's because of the results. So of course, when we're done, I have her lay her, I put her legs up to wax the backside, and then she lays her legs down and she's just laying there. I ask her, do you mind if people come up and look at you versus looking at you on the camera? Do you mind if people come up? And of course she said no, she didn't mind. So people come up, and my first always thing that I say to people, do your clients look like this? She had no redness, no irritation, no shiny. All the oil was gone. It wasn't slick. It is the true perfect wax because one, it's low temp, but do your customers look like this? If your customers are red or have red bumps or, are irritated, typically it's the wax. Every single student in that class, estheticians, cosmos, everyone who's watched said, my clients never look like that. And I said, here's the difference. Clients never talk about how bad it felt coming out, or, I just didn't like the way the lighting looked, stupid stuff that we think clients talk about. They always remember how they felt after the service. My emphasis is always said to take the heat out of it. So all of my waxes are low temp. So they're not as scared of the heat or how hot it's going to be. There is no issue for that. Number one. Number two, when I get done, before I even put any post product on, and this is what I always emphasize in my classes, is when I'm done, before I give them a hot towel, before I give them some ouch balm, before I give them some calm serum, depending on what we're going to do, I always have people look. This is how you want your clients to be when you're done. They should look like nothing happened. Skin should be calm and hydrated. Should be no irritation or redness, especially on the sides, especially over that ligament right there. No redness, no irritation. Every time I wax, I always emphasize the end. Before I even have them put on their post products, this is how you want clients to look. Then I always get about 10 estheticians that'll come up to me after class and say, how do you get that skin to look like that? This is my second time waxing this specific model. I only wax her once a year. But I said, the thing is I know my waxes. I know what I'm doing. I know my wax is really for hair. As long as I can keep the skin moisturized, as long as I can keep the skin happy, I will never have the redness and irritation that most people have when they wax, especially when you're talking about Brazilian waxing. And, you can go live on Instagram now. Yes, honey, where have you been? Toria, I'm going to need you to keep up with technology, honey. But, the thing is that you have a lot of people who are really not understanding that part. Customers love to be able to walk out of your treatment room like they came in. If you've not ever hashtagged Latte Wax or Say Brazil Latte or even Say Brazil Wax, and you see all the befores and afters with the soft wax, it's not like a traditional wax. You don't see redness and irritation that you see from a lot of other waxes because of the heat. It's not really the removal, it's the heat. So if you remember that and you understand that, then when it comes to hair removal and you don't have heat being an issue, the skin is going to be happy. And that's the difference between most hair removal products, is that they haven't really understood the heating factor. And that's what makes sense about, most people when they come in and they talk to me, because they're like, most clients are shrugging away, or they move, or, depending on what you take off, it's the heat. So I take the heat out of my waxes so we have no heat issues, right? They're all low temp. It doesn't take long for them to melt. That's always an issue when we're working, right? But the key to a lot of it is the client's skin look like it's been waxed? My clients don't. I love to have Brazilian waxing where when we put the post product on, or I give them the hot towel and then they put the products on, it's not soothing because it was irritated. It's soothing because they're feeling how soft their skin is. They're feeling that there's no hair there. And yes, you're hearing me right. I don't apply any prep to the clients. I actually allow them to do it themselves, and I also allow them to apply it after. I don't put it on them. I never have. That was never something that I wanted to do. I also am very great with instructions. I am here to remove your hair and that's it. I don't need to clean you, touch you, wipe you, or do any of these things. And I think a lot of us estheticians lose that understanding that you can really still be very efficient. That doesn't mean you have to apply anything. I'm great at giving directions, and this is not a facial. So when you look at those two different things, and you look at people when, they think about hair removal, most people respond to the heat. They're only talking about the heat. They're not even talking about the removal itself, which is painful, we know. Most people talk about how hot it is. So that's the difference between, me and waxing and demos and things that I use. I love asking the question, what does your client look like after you're done with the service? Do they look like they had their hair removed? Especially when we go to face, when we go to brows. I mean, I love Nick's video that he did last week or the week before, and he's been sharing that client's skin is intact. There is no irritation. There is no redness. Do you have that kind of result? Can you give those kinds of results from what you're using now? Probably not. The other part that I like about it too is that, you get to see in real time. We're not saying a time lapse or 2 months later, or 2 minutes later, 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, 20. No. During the service, as the hair is being removed, you're looking at the skin. There is no redness happening. There is nothing that looks like or could look like being irritated. That's what you got to really understand when you're providing those kinds of services. You did your husband's brows and used Ash Balm as pre and post and used Latte. He broke out in a rash around the brows. You don't need to have Ouch Balm before. You could have used just Ouch Balm after. And if he broke out, do you actually wax his brows? Or was this a first time service? Because that's going to make a difference as well. If you can answer those questions, I know that it pops up quick in here. But did you use anything before you used Ouch Balm? I would never use Ouch Balm before. Nick uses it before on his Retin-A clients, and that's for a barrier. I don't even wax Retin-A clients, but you don't actually need anything before you use Latte, 7, CocoDiva, any of my waxes. There is no prep. I don't believe in a prep, and I don't believe in cleaning the skin. So if you use something to clean the skin and then you try to apply Ouch Balm, then you try to apply Latte and then Ouch Balm again, it's too much. Ouch Balm is a thick balm. It is a beeswax base. So, yeah, you wax his brows before. You never experienced that before. So why did you put Ouch Balm before? Why didn't you just wax? Cindy, what was the purpose of the Ouch Balm before? Because I've said many times, all of my trainings, there's no prep. Unless you're doing a bikini or Brazilian, you don't need to put anything on. You just apply the wax. So what you see in all the training videos, from the Arch Addicts, my video, Nick's videos, we're just waxing. You're bringing a suitcase to the States. Yeah, you just wax. You use Ouch Balm after Brazilians. It works awesome. Thank you, Patricia. Yes, we love Ouch Balm. Absolutely. Ouch Balm is a great. It's been a while since you waxed his brows, and the reason you use it because he gets red. So, okay. So, Cindy, yeah, you didn't need any Ouch Balm. And honestly, if he gets red, typically, like I've said in before, it's the heat. So you were overdoing it for him. You didn't need to. Less is more. So when waxing, and here's the thing, getting really red for him and his skin type, and if it's normal, then that's him. There's nothing to prevent that. So by using products, you're actually aggravating and adding things on top of his normal response. So preventing someone getting red, you want to figure out why they're getting red. And if you've used a wax before that's high in heat, typically people get red when you put something hot on them. And for him, his histamine response may be that he gets red as well. But adding products onto it to prevent it will do exactly what happened to you. It's in the reverse. It actually does more bad than good. So I don't ever prep when I do facial waxing, whether I'm using soft or hard. I'm just going to wax. Afterwards, I'm going to look at the skin and see what it is. Calm Serum typically deals with red only. I don't prep the skin because what are you prepping when you prep the skin? You're not prepping. You're stripping their natural oils in their skin. If I come in looking just like this, my natural oils keep my skin in a calm state. So then you're going to remove it by using a chemical to remove my natural oils in my skin. You're going to remove my hair, and then you want to put something back on top of it to bring it back to its natural state. That's not going to work. I don't double dip. I don't need to clean the skin. My client's skin is intact. All I'm dealing with is hair. And I think that's the problem with a lot of us, is we go based off of what the product says that we should do instead of understanding the skin. If you have makeup on, all you need to do is take a clean 2x2 or 4x4 and wipe it off. That's it. Their oil is still present. All we're dealing with is hair. Remember that. And that's part of our issue with our industry, is we have products that come out talking about skin. When you're looking at hair removal, well, I'm not talking about the skin. I'm talking about the hair type, the curly, the texture, all of that. So if you focus on that and you're using products that focus on the hair removal, all you need to make sure is that the skin is in a healthy state. If you're taking products and you're removing them, you're removing their normal oils, you're removing whatever they put on to come to you, whether it was their moisturizer, their sunblock, or whatever, what their skin is used to, you're then changing that pH of that skin, and you're taking that skin to another level it didn't need to go to. Then you remove the hair, and then you want to try to bring it back to its natural state by putting something else on top of it. You're doing too much when we were only supposed to remove the hair. That's it. So what you see Nick do, what you see Diana does, and mine from the Arch Addicts, every training that you see that they use in Latte, and people are not cleansing the skin. The reason we're getting those great results is because we're keeping the skin in its natural state, the way it came in. It wasn't irritated when it came in. What we do is we cause irritation to the skin. Keep that in mind. That's very different. When you have skin and facials over here, we have hair removal over here. And a lot of us want to combine the two, and we're not. Keep the skin in its neutral, normal place, the way it came into you, and let it leave the same way. We do way too much. So if you're doing too much, then you can cause more harm than good. But I'm a true believer. The skin comes in its natural state. It's healthy. It's not irritated. Let's go remove the hair. Let's put something behind that and let them go out the door, and there's no redness. If you're taking it, you're trying to use a cleanser or a toner or anything that's going to change the pH balance of the skin, strip the skin of its natural oils, you're doing too much. This is not a facial. This is a hair removal service. Very different. And then everybody's like, well, the product says it. Do you actually understand why the product is saying that, or are you just doing it because the product's telling you to do it? Even when I used a product line that told me to cleanse, I still didn't cleanse because there's no purpose. I'm not double dipping. And also, I don't want to change the pH balance of the skin. I don't need to. I'm focusing on the hair. That's it. So a lot of us do too much, and then we get these kinds of responses. We do too much. We don't need to. The less you do to the skin, the better it will be. Especially when you start talking about face. Underarms, it depends. There's the people that wear deodorant or whatever. You want to brush that away, but I don't really prep underarms either. I don't prep anything except for bikini and Brazilian, and all I do is prep with our oil, and that's infused with vitamin E, so it leaves the skin very, very soft, very, very moisturized, and it's a protective barrier. Powder, not a protective barrier. Powder comes off with wax. Vitamin E stays on the skin. The oil comes off with the wax. The vitamin E stays. So you gotta really understand what you're doing, where you're doing it at, and what is the purpose. Purpose in the bikini Brazilian is protect that skin. That skin is not seeing daylights for some people. Some people are naked outside, but for most of us, it's not seeing daylight. It is always covered up. It's always protected. So you got to kind of treat it in that way, which is why we add that extra barrier. And if you've not seen any of my trainings, I do have my trainings available on StephanieLaynes.com. I do have troubleshooting videos. I have plus size videos. I have videos of the technique. I'm using my different waxes. There's really just understanding. It's not just the being faster at waxing or being more proficient at it. Does the client walk away satisfied because they're not irritated? All of that is what gives you that professional edge. If you're using products and the client walks out looking like their hair has been ripped out and everything else, that is what clients remember. But think about it. Most of our clients, when they talk to us about anything that we've done for waxing, what do they talk about? Either it's irritated or it's been red longer than 6, 8, 9, 10 hours. That's the after effects. They never talk about it actually during. Does that make sense? Thanks for explaining that, because I didn't understand why you didn't prep. I live in Washington State and was taught to cleanse before waxing. It's actually in our state board. Right. Cindy, you're not in school anymore. State board is because it's based from 1940s and 50s when they actually double dipped. That's why they cleanse the skin before waxing, because they double dip. They use the same stick. So state boards and all of that have nothing to do with you actually doing a service. All they're making sure is that you're proficient at the service. So there you go. You really got to understand exactly what happens when you're removing hair and what happens to the skin. And these are two different things. When we do facials, we have a different thing that we're doing. We're wanting to change that pH. We're wanting to get things accomplished. We're wanting things to be penetrated into the skin. So you're going to change that pH. You're welcome, darling. But that's what a facial is. Even if you're doing a straight cleansing facial, you're going to change the pH when you use the cleanser. You're going to change the pH when you're using the serums. You're going to change the pH when you're doing the eye treatments, when you're putting on the mask and you're forcing any and everything in that mask into the skin. And I asked this question too when I did my Esthetician 101. I said, what is the purpose of a mask? And a lot of people don't understand the purposes of your mask. It's to force whatever's under the mask into the skin. The reason we leave it on for a long extended period of time is because we are forcing the skin to accept all of those nutrients and serums that we have underneath the mask. So if you understand that, and you understand that process, then when it comes to hair removal, because we got to put skincare to the side, when it comes to hair removal and we're removing the hair from the root, then what your focus should be on is keeping the skin in a neutral state. That means you're not stripping it. That means you're not coming in and going to cleanse it. Cleansing the skin changes the pH balance. We know that. So then why do you then would cleanse the skin before you're removing hair when we want to keep the skin in a neutral state? You got to think about it. It can't be from what product's telling you. It can't be from state board that's been written 50, 60 years ago when double dipping was still okay. You really got to understand what you're doing to the skin at the time, in the moment, in your treatment room. And that's why I find a lot of estheticians are not the ones that try to think from an analytical side to say, okay, this is what's presented to me. This is what I want to keep in a neutral state. This is what I'm going to do. What we do is we'd rather look at a protocol to see what skin type and what we should do. That's not skincare, honey. It's not. Skincare is you being able to look at and analyze someone's skin and being able to look at it and say, this is what the skin needs right now. This is how I can help this client right now. That's how you build your clientele. That's my signature. My signature is that anytime someone comes in, they're never going to know what I'm doing in their skin ever, because I don't know what it is until I do an analysis. I did my video live last week with my esthetician. I never know what my treatments are with her because she's always treating my skin the minute she sees me, because my skin could be dry. It could be, we deal all the time with my hyperpigmentation. My cheeks have always been my problem areas. She's always going to do something like that. Now, we know we're going to do some microcurrent because I love the lifting feature, especially around the eyes and especially here, as I'm getting mature. I want to make sure that I'm still lifting those things. But, I never know what I'm doing. If you are an esthetician and you have a game plan before your client even comes into the door and you don't do an analysis on every client that walks into your treatment room, you're not doing aesthetics. You're just not. Double dipping is using the same stick over and over again. So you take the stick into the wax pot, you apply it to the skin, you use the same stick. That's double dipping. So if you have, if you're not understanding that kind of power that you can yield on clients and how you can truly build true clientele by customizing and analyzing and treating each client for what their skin is or what's happening in the skin right now, that's the next step for you to go to. It's not about products. It's not about what's on your retail shelf. It's not about the biggest machine you're able to buy. What is setting yourself apart from every esthetician? I had a conversation this weekend with a lot of estheticians, and I told them, here's the thing. If you have been doing this for more than 5 or 6 years, if you've been doing this and doing that, what is it that's going to make yourself different in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Yes, my online classes are in my online esthetician masterclass. I have about 30 different courses in there, and all my new classes are there. You pay a one-time fee, and then that's it. But yeah, you can definitely join that anytime. Just go to stephanielaynes.com and then click on esthetician membership. So if you are, wanting to change or wanting to add something new, most people will go to a machine, not realizing it's not the machine that will make you money. It's not the machine that will make you money. What will make you money is signature and then doing things that people don't do. Most estheticians right now on this, and when you're watching this later on, you don't have a signature. You don't have a customized treatment on your service menu. You don't have the ability to look at someone's skin and say, this is what I'm going to do today. You don't have it. Because if you did, you wouldn't be on here. You'd be busy with your clients. But once you actually understand that, and you're saying, you know what, for 2018, starting in January, when I redo my menu and I do my price increase, because that's what I tell everybody to do, I'm going to make sure I have one facial and it's customized. I'm going to do it based on time. 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. This is how much you're paying for it. This is what could be included into it, but it's going to be different every time I see you. Clients love that. That's why I have one facial, but I don't give you those options. It's either 90 minutes or not. But you really got to understand how you can really yield and you can really get results that you want and grow that clientele. Clients tell each other about their esthetician because their esthetician treats them like they are the only ones in the world. When you go to someone and say, we're going to work on, I'm not even going to tell you what to do. Lay down. Let me pamper you. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you were able to come in and see me today. Let me see how I can help your skin. That's very different than what you're doing now with your customers. Correct? Because a lot of you guys are doing the cookie cutter way of aesthetics, and that's not aesthetics. Looking at a protocol or deciding this is the treatments I'm going to do for everybody that comes in for this month. That's not aesthetics. Aesthetics is truly doing skin analysis and giving your client what they need at the time. That's it. That's how I made most of my money and still do. Is that. When you look at someone's skin and you understand exactly what they need and you have it for them, that's what will set you apart. And I come out, I'm a straight shooter. You know, it's not about a machine. I am bad with the steamer. You get me a good steamer, honey, and I can do some stuff that you don't even know about. But just me and a steamer. You know, it's the difference, and thank you, honey. It's the difference of understanding machines that can benefit your business and machines that will make you broke. Because if you're buying a $20, $30, $40, $50,000 machine without a plan and without clientele, you're going to be paying that machine. That's bigger than a car note. You know, you got to have the clientele first to buy those kinds of machines. Now, do those machines yield results? Yes. Can you get results like that without it? Yes. Are you willing to do training to get those results out of it? No. Machines are not new, darling. Machines are not new. Just new packaging. That's it. The machines are the same. They do the same things. It sounds good. It might be a little bit more sleeker. Might be a little smaller. Might be a little lighter. But as far as the actual what it does on the skin, it's the same. The price has just gone up. That's it. But a machine will never make or break your practice. It won't. You know, I look at my investments that I did, and they're still right now top of the line, even 12 years, 13 years later. They're very efficient. I paid them all off. You know, I don't owe. You know, they paid for themselves within the first 2 or 3 years, so I'm thankful for that. But, you know, you got to really understand, what is it that you're trying to do in your business? What is your ultimate goal? Is your ultimate goal to have 500 clients, 1,000 clients? Is your ultimate goal to make 6 figures? Is your ultimate goal, you know, to have just an outstanding retail line? I mean, what is the true goal of you being an esthetician outside of working for someone? What is the goal? What is it that you're trying to do in that business? Because if you're not doing something that's different, nothing will happen. Trust me. You tell your students all the time they don't need to do a lot to do a Balm facial. No. Nope. You just got to know skin. You got to be able to ask questions. You got to be able to understand what's happening. You got to ask those questions that you may not want to ask. You have to be willing to do that. You also have to understand that every esthetician can do the same thing. We can do facials, we can do hair removal, we can do makeup, we can do lashes, and I'm missing something else in there. So we can all do the same things, but what is going to set you apart versus the esthetician across the street, down the street, uptown, northtown, whatever? What's going to make you different? And I'm telling you what makes me different. The problem that I see is that most estheticians don't want to do the work to get themselves there. They want to look at people like myself and like Nick and the Arch Addicts and all these girls and all these people who have been in the industry for a long time, and you want to come out the gate and think that you can be like that. That's not how it works. You got to earn and learn your way to that level. It doesn't happen by just saying, okay, I'm just going to do this. No, this industry takes time. It takes learning. It takes trust. It takes, you setting yourself apart. And that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Because here's the thing. No one can just jump into this industry and say, I'm going to come out from school, work for a year, go work for somebody, and I'm going to make 6 figures. No, good luck. No. You got to have some time. What is setting you apart? Do you make each client feel like they're the only client? Do you have a signature? Do you customize? Do you have products that have your name on it? Are you building your brand or someone else's brand? All of those things have to be addressed. You know, there's a lot of people going around upset at a certain skincare company because they're selling directly to the public. I've been talking about this for years. It happened to me back in 2007, so I'm going 10 years ago. And that's why I've done private label and never look back. Some of the products that I use now are not private label, but I like those products. But as far as business, oh no, never. That was a kick in the gut. You can't be mad though. Let me explain why you can't be mad. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna talk to you from the business side. I'm an esthetician, but I also have a business. Some of you estheticians cannot keep up with your clientele. You don't buy the retail and put it on your shelf like you're supposed to. You don't. I know that with my products because I have your clients calling us. She hasn't had that ouch balm in for a while. She hasn't had green cream in for a long time. Are you not making it anymore? No, we still make it. That is what happens. What happens is you get the public coming saying this esthetician can't keep it on their shelves, or they're not ordering it the way they should. So should I wait, or should I call you and ask you, can I get it? Number one. Number two, we ain't loyal. We're not loyal. Something comes out cheaper, faster, smells better, we're all over there. We don't have any loyalty. We don't. We like new things. We like to see what's out there. We like to see if it's new, if it smells good. I want to try that. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that. Okay. From a business point of view, if you already know that, and then let's get to the elephant in the room. There's millions and millions and millions of people who love skincare products. But there's maybe, 50, 60, 100,000 maybe estheticians in the U.S. Let's talk about just the U.S. We're not talking about everybody else, and I can include everybody else. Business-wise, there's a bigger audience. So you can't be mad. What you can do, though, is you can start doing your game plan. Your game plan is to get products on your shelves that have your name on it so your clients come back to you to buy it. That's it. Very simple. No confusion. That's it. So when your name is on it, they know exactly where to come. They can call you. You can ship it. You can put it on your website. You can do whatever you want. That freedom is there. Gotta block folks already. You gotta see that is such a bigger audience for you. There's a couple estheticians right now that are on YouTube that are doing phenomenal with their private label because they're basically showing what it does. They're sharing befores and afters. They put a link into that video and people buy it. Side hustle. And there's a lot of people who love to support estheticians because they trust us. They know we study skin and products and ingredients, and they listen to us. The thing that backs us up is our befores and afters and our clients saying, yes, it works. Our clients saying, yes, this is what it was. This is how I used to look. This is how I look now. I love it. I refer it. I recommend it. It's not hard. Some of us got to get out of our way. We do. So all of what I talked about tonight, I'm actually doing courses on, which will be in my Esthetician Online Masterclass, especially the one with private label. I think for a lot of you guys, it's time. It's time to at least explore and start setting up a plan. I'm not saying go get a full line. You can start off with a lip balm or maybe an eye gel or, maybe a pencil or, maybe a sunblock, something simple. It does not have to be, a full line, cleanser, moisturizer, serum, eye treatment, sunblock. Start small. Do something simple, And there's a lot of companies that love to do low orders. They don't have to have, you know, these, you don't have to go and, you know, spend thousands of dollars to start with them. Start with one thing. You know, lip balms are always great, especially when you start having your name on it. Everybody loves a good lip balm. You know, and then work your way from your favorite product. If you don't have a great eye gel right now, that might be where you start and looking with private label to fill in that spot. You know, simple things like that. You know, a lot of people will start off with doing either neck treatments or, you know, décolleté, chest stuff that people can use at home. Private label start first. There's always a way to start your way into it and grow as your business grows with that, because you're going to see your markup is 200 to 300%. You buy something for $4 and you turn around and sell it for $29. Add that up. That's a $25 profit on each thing. Versus you paying $17 or $18 to a manufacturer or product line, and then you only get $10 markup, or maybe $12. That's why private label for a lot of you guys is the next step to go. Put something that has your name on it so the client come back. I'm being very honest. That's how I got my 6 figures. That's it. And I just took a step further. You know, I also did wholesale, so I'm selling. I do multiple things in that arena because it's very simple for me. I think a lot of us just need to hear it and have options. It's not an investment where you're going to throw, you know, a couple thousand. You can't do it like that. And most of us have never even bought into a line like that. There are some cleansers we like. There's some serums we like. There's some moisturizers and other things that we like. And we'll buy those in bulk as they become popular. But very rare do most of us go out and buy a full line of skincare. That's the difference. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. And I will come back to Instagram, you know, later on. I've been doing both Facebook and Instagram lives now. So if you're not on my Facebook page, please follow that. And if you're not on Say Brazil Wax on Instagram, you know, that's where I have all of the products there. So I'm branching out into different ways and talking to you guys. And I always have my YouTube channel. I think I'm up to 189 videos on there. So this one will probably be on YouTube as well. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for coming out and listening to me tonight. And I will be back again. Bye.